Title: The Haunting of Billie Jean's House. In the quiet suburban neighborhood of Oakwood Heights, nestled amidst neatly manicured lawns and blooming gardens, stood a modest house with a dark and troubled past. It was the home of Billie Jean, a middle-aged woman with a kind smile and a gentle demeanor. But despite her outward appearance, Billie Jean's house held a sinister secret, a secret that would soon be unearthed by those brave enough to venture within its walls. For years, strange rumors had circulated about Billie Jean's house. Whispers of unexplained noises in the dead of night, of eerie shadows that danced along the walls, and of a presence that lingered in the air like a heavy fog. But Billie Jean paid no heed to the tales, dismissing them as idle gossip and superstition. But as the years went by, the whispers grew louder and the shadows grew darker. It became clear that something was amiss within the walls of Billie Jean's house. Something ancient and malevolent that hungered for the souls of the living. Among those drawn to the house was a young couple named Mark and Emily, eager to purchase their first home together. Ignoring the warnings of friends and family, they decided to tour Billie Jean's house, drawn in by its charming exterior and affordable price tag. As they crossed the threshold of the house, a chill wind swept through the air, sending shivers down their spines. Ignoring their unease, they pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the house's haunted reputation. But as night fell and the shadows lengthened, strange things began to happen. Objects would move of their own accord, and eerie whispers echoed through the empty rooms. With each passing moment, the atmosphere grew more oppressive, as if the very air around them was alive with unseen energy. Desperate for answers, Mark and Emily delved into the house's history, uncovering a dark secret hidden within its walls. It was said that years ago, Billie Jean's house had been the site of a gruesome murder, a crime of passion that had left an indelible mark on the land. But as Mark and Emily soon discovered, the house's dark past was far from over. The restless spirit of the victim still lingered within its walls, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead, seeking vengeance on those who dared to disturb its slumber. With nowhere left to run, Mark and Emily found themselves face to face with the spirit of the murdered woman, her eyes blazing with hatred as she reached out towards them with spectral hands. With a cry of terror, they fled from the house, their hearts pounding in their chests as they raced into the night. And as they disappeared into the darkness, the house stood silent and still once more, its secrets buried beneath layers of dust and despair. A chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks within us all, waiting to be unleashed upon the unsuspecting souls who dare to cross its threshold. Title: The Haunting of Axl Rose. In the heart of Los Angeles, where the neon lights blazed and the streets thrummed with the pulse of the city, stood an unassuming mansion known as Rosewood Manor. It was the home of Axl Rose, the enigmatic frontman of the legendary rock band Guns N' Roses. But behind the mansion's grand facade lay a dark and troubled past, a past that would soon come back to haunt Axl in ways he could never have imagined. For years, rumors had circulated about Rosewood Manor, whispers of strange occurrences in the dead of night, of eerie shadows that danced along the walls, and of a presence that lingered in the air like a heavy fog. But Axl paid no heed to the tales, dismissing them as idle gossip and superstition. But as the years went by, the whispers grew louder, and the shadows grew darker. It became clear that something was amiss within the walls of Rosewood Manor, something ancient and malevolent that hungered for the souls of the living. Among those drawn to the mansion was a young journalist named Sarah, eager to uncover the truth behind the rumors that had plagued Rosewood Manor for years. Ignoring the warnings of friends and family, she decided to investigate the mansion herself, drawn in by its mysterious allure. As she crossed the threshold of the mansion, a chill wind swept through the air, sending shivers down her spine. Ignoring her unease, she pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the mansion's haunted reputation. But as night fell and the shadows lengthened, strange things began to happen. Objects would move of their own accord, and eerie whispers echoed through the empty rooms. With each passing moment, the atmosphere grew more oppressive, as if the very air around her was alive with unseen energy. Desperate for answers, Sarah delved into the mansion's history, uncovering a dark secret hidden within its walls. It was said that years ago, Rosewood Manor had been the site of a gruesome murder, a crime of passion that had left an indelible mark on the land. But as Sarah soon discovered, the mansion's dark past was far from over. The restless spirits of the victims still lingered within its walls, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead, seeking vengeance on those who dared to disturb their slumber. With nowhere left to run, Sarah found herself face to face with the spirits of the murdered victims, their eyes blazing with hatred as they reached out towards her with spectral hands. With a cry of terror, she fled from the mansion, her heart pounding in her chest as she raced into the night. And as she disappeared into the darkness, Rosewood Manor stood silent and still once more, its secrets buried beneath layers of dust and despair, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks within us all, waiting to be unleashed upon the unsuspecting souls who dare to cross its threshold. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled amidst towering willow trees, there lived a young girl named Emily. Every night, before she drifted off to sleep, her grandmother would tell her stories about the Whispering Willow, a tree said to be haunted by the spirits of the forest. Legend had it that the Whispering Willow was home to a ghostly figure known as the Guardian, who watched over the forest and protected it from harm. But there were those who believed that the Guardian was not alone, that something far more sinister lurked within the shadows of the ancient tree. One moonlit night, as Emily lay in bed, she heard a soft whispering sound coming from outside her window. Curious, she peered out into the darkness and saw the silhouette of the Whispering Willow swaying in the gentle breeze. Intrigued, Emily decided to investigate, despite her grandmother's warnings to stay away from the haunted tree. With a sense of trepidation, she crept out of her house and made her way through the forest, guided by the faint glow of the moon. As she reached the clearing where the Whispering Willow stood, Emily felt a chill run down her spine, a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Ignoring her fear, she approached the tree and reached out to touch its gnarled trunk. But as her fingers brushed against the bark, she heard a low, menacing growl emanating from the darkness. With a start, she stumbled backwards and saw the shadowy figure of the Guardian emerge from the depths of the forest. With glowing eyes and bared teeth, the Guardian advanced towards Emily, its presence filling her with a sense of dread. Paralyzed with fear, she tried to run, but her legs refused to move. Just as the Guardian was about to strike, Emily felt a warm breeze wash over her, a gentle whisper in her ear that seemed to chase away the darkness. With a surge of courage, she stood her ground and faced the Guardian head-on. With a flash of light, the Guardian disappeared into the night, leaving Emily alone in the clearing. As she made her way back home, she knew that she had faced her fears and emerged victorious, a testament to the power of courage and the resilience of the human spirit. And as she drifted off to sleep, surrounded by the comforting embrace of her grandmother's stories, Emily knew that she would always be protected by the Guardian of the Whispering Willow, watching over her from the shadows of the night. Title: The Night Visitor. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled at the foot of a towering mountain, there lived a young girl named Lucy. Every night before she went to bed, her grandmother would tell her a bedtime story to chase away the darkness. But one night, as Lucy lay in bed, she heard a strange scratching sound coming from outside her window. Heart pounding, she peered out into the darkness, but saw nothing but the shadows of the night. Brushing off her unease, Lucy closed her eyes and tried to fall asleep. But as she drifted off into slumber, she felt a cold breath brush against her neck, a presence lurking just beyond the edge of her vision. With a start, Lucy opened her eyes to find a figure standing at the foot of her bed. A shadowy silhouette with glowing eyes that pierced the darkness like fiery embers. Terror gripped her heart as she realized that the figure was not human, but something far more sinister. Paralyzed with fear, Lucy watched as the figure approached her, its movements slow and deliberate. With each step it took, the air grew colder, as if the very essence of the night had seeped into the room. Desperate for escape, Lucy tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. Tears welled in her eyes as the figure drew closer, its icy touch sending shivers down her spine. But just as it reached out to touch her, a soft voice whispered in Lucy's ear, the voice of her grandmother, weaving a protective barrier of love and light around her. With a burst of courage, Lucy reached out and banished the figure back into the darkness from whence it came. And as dawn broke and the first light of morning filtered through the window, Lucy's grandmother entered the room to find her granddaughter safe and sound. With a knowing smile, she tucked Lucy into bed and whispered a comforting lullaby to chase away the lingering shadows of the night. And as Lucy drifted off into peaceful slumber, she knew that no matter what terrors lurked in the darkness, she would always be protected by the love of those who cared for her. Title: The Beast of Blackwood Forest. Deep within the heart of Blackwood Forest, there lurked a creature of nightmares. A beast with eyes as red as blood and claws as sharp as daggers. For generations, the villagers had whispered tales of its ferocity, warning their children never to venture into the woods alone. But one fateful night, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to test the limits of their bravery and venture into Blackwood Forest in search of the legendary beast. Among them were Jack, the fearless leader, Sarah, his bold and determined girlfriend, Alex, the skeptic, and Emily, the quiet but curious one. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with the scent of pine and the distant sounds of wildlife. But as night fell, and the darkness closed in around them, they realized that they were not alone. With a thunderous roar, the beast emerged from the shadows, its massive form looming over them like a specter of death. Panic set in as the teenagers realized the true extent of their folly. But it was too late. They were trapped in the beast's domain, at the mercy of its insatiable hunger. With lightning speed, the beast lashed out, its claws tearing through the air with deadly precision. But as the teenagers fought for their lives, they realized that the true monster was not the creature before them, but the darkness that lurked within their own hearts. In a moment of clarity, Jack realized that the only way to defeat the beast was to confront their own fears, to stand together as one and face the darkness head-on. With newfound resolve, they rallied against the creature, their determination shining like a beacon in the night. And as the first light of dawn broke through the trees, the beast let out a deafening roar, its form dissipating like smoke in the wind. With a sense of relief and triumph, the teenagers emerged from the forest, forever changed by their encounter with the beast of Blackwood Forest. But though the creature had been vanquished, its legend lived on in the hearts of the villagers, a reminder of the darkness that lurks within us all, and the strength we find in confronting our deepest fears. Title: The Forgotten Village. In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, nestled amidst a dense forest and shrouded in mist, lay a forgotten village known as Whispering Hollow. For centuries, the village had been abandoned, its crumbling buildings and overgrown streets serving as a haunting reminder of its tragic past. Legend had it that Whispering Hollow was cursed, its inhabitants vanishing without a trace under mysterious circumstances. But as time passed and memories faded, the village slipped into obscurity, its secrets buried beneath layers of folklore and superstition. But one fateful summer, a group of adventurous teenagers stumbled upon Whispering Hollow while exploring the remote wilderness. Among them were Sarah, the fearless leader, Alex, the skeptic, Emily, the cautious one, and Jack, the thrill-seeker. As they ventured deeper into the village, they felt a sense of unease settle over them, a feeling that they were being watched by unseen eyes. Ignoring their instincts, they pressed on, drawn by the allure of the abandoned buildings and forgotten history. But as night fell and the shadows lengthened, strange things began to happen. Objects would move of their own accord, and eerie whispers echoed through the empty streets. With each passing moment, the atmosphere grew more oppressive, as if the very air around them was alive with unseen energy. Desperate for answers, the teenagers delved into the village's history, uncovering a dark secret hidden within its crumbling walls. Years ago, Whispering Hollow had been home to a community of outcasts, shunned by the outside world and forced to fend for themselves in the unforgiving wilderness. But as tensions rose and tempers flared, the villagers turned on each other, consumed by fear and paranoia. And when the last resident vanished without a trace, Whispering Hollow was abandoned, its secrets lost to the passage of time. Determined to uncover the truth, the teenagers explored the village's abandoned buildings, their flashlights cutting through the darkness like knives. But as they ventured deeper into the heart of Whispering Hollow, they realized that they were not alone. With a deafening roar, A shadowy figure emerged from the shadows, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light. Paralyzed with fear, the teenagers watched as the figure advanced towards them, its movements slow and deliberate. But just as all hope seemed lost, Sarah remembered a tale her grandmother had told her. A tale of a forgotten ritual that could banish the darkness and cleanse the village of its curse. With no other choice, they performed the ritual, calling upon the spirits of the forest to protect them from the darkness that lurked within Whispering Hollow. As dawn broke and the first light of morning filtered through the trees, the teenagers emerged from the village, shaken but alive. And though Whispering Hollow remained a ghostly reminder of its tragic past, they knew that they had faced their fears and emerged victorious, a testament to the power of friendship and the resilience of the human spirit. Title: The Starlight Guardian. Once upon a time, in a sleepy little village nestled at the edge of a vast forest, there lived a young boy named Oliver. Every night, as the stars twinkled in the sky, Oliver's grandmother would tell him stories of the Starlight Guardian, a celestial being who watched over the world from high above. According to the tales, the Starlight Guardian would descend from the heavens each night to sprinkle stardust over the land, filling the world with wonder and magic. And though Oliver had never seen the Guardian with his own eyes, he believed in its existence with all his heart. One warm summer evening, as Oliver lay in bed gazing up at the night sky, he heard a soft rustling outside his window. Heart pounding with excitement, he crept to the window and peered out into the darkness. To his amazement, he saw a shimmering figure descending from the sky, a being of pure light and starlight, with wings that glowed like the moon. With a sense of wonder, Oliver watched as the Starlight Guardian floated down to earth, its presence filling him with a sense of peace and tranquility. As the Guardian moved through the village, sprinkling stardust in its wake, Oliver followed in its footsteps, his heart filled with joy and wonder. Together, they wandered through the streets, spreading magic and light wherever they went. But as dawn approached and the first light of morning crept over the horizon, the Starlight Guardian began to fade away, its form growing fainter with each passing moment. With a heavy heart, Oliver watched as the Guardian ascended back into the sky, disappearing into the depths of the heavens. As he returned home, filled with memories of his magical encounter, Oliver knew that he would never forget the night he met the Starlight Guardian. And though the Guardian had returned to the stars, its presence would forever remain in his heart, a guiding light in the darkness of the night. Title: The Cabin in the Woods. In the heart of a dense forest, shrouded in mist and mystery, stood an old cabin known to locals as the Widow's Retreat. Its weathered facade and broken windows whispered tales of tragedy and despair, warning all who dared to venture near. One moonless night, a group of friends decided to escape the hustle and bustle of city life and seek solace in the quiet solitude of the woods. Among them were Sarah, the adventurous one, Mark, the skeptic, Emily, the bookworm, and Jake, the thrill seeker. As they arrived at the cabin, a sense of unease settled over them, a feeling that they were being watched by unseen eyes. Ignoring their instincts, they pushed open the creaking door and stepped into the darkness within. As they settled in for the night, strange things began to happen. Shadows danced along the walls, and eerie whispers echoed through the empty rooms. With each passing moment, the atmosphere grew more oppressive, as if the very air around them was alive with unseen energy. Desperate for answers, the friends delved into the cabin's history, uncovering a dark secret hidden within its walls. Years ago, the cabin had been home to a widow who had lost her husband in a tragic accident. Consumed by grief and madness, she had taken her own life, cursing the cabin and all who dared to enter its domain. With a sinking feeling in their hearts, the friends realized that they were not alone in the cabin, that the spirit of the widow still lingered, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. And as the night wore on, her presence grew more malevolent, her whispers filling their minds with thoughts of despair and doom. With each passing hour, the friends felt the cabin's grip tightening around them, its walls closing in like a suffocating embrace. With no way to escape, they were forced to confront the darkness that lurked within, their sanity slipping away with each whispered word. As dawn broke and the first light of morning filtered through the trees, The friends emerged from the cabin, shaken but alive. But as they looked back at the widow's retreat, they knew that they would never forget the horrors they had witnessed within its walls, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks within us all.